I'm pretty sure evolutionists have an estimate.
I'm going to butcher this. I know someone's going to call me on it, but still millions of years would be my guess.
Okay.
Or at least in the million. Is it
Million? Is it
It might be
thousands?
200,000.
I would have guessed it was much more than that.
Is it 200,000?
200,000?
What is?
I'll go with
the basic idea of what they're saying. Whatever.
Okay. Evolutionists, they say that humans have been around for about 200,000 years as estimate. Here's the thing with me. Okay, here's the thing with me. We went from writing in stone 3,000 years ago to having flight technology, lasers, having all the things that we have today in 3,000 years. You're telling me that other 190 some odd years, 1,000 years, we didn't do nothing. We just sat around. That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
No, that's when we started changing. That's when we started changing from essentially what you would call a monkey, which is not a monkey. That's just a common ancestor between monkeys. But that's when we started changing and evolving into what we are now. You see, as you start getting smarter, you can start doing more things.
As technology goes on, and as we start inventing, like, for example, new computers, technology triples in power. Let me put it this way. Technology triples in power every year. And eventually you're going to get to the point where we are now,
where you have triples, where you get like iPod Touch one year, and then a supercomputer the next, for example.
I mean,
you have that somewhat same situation with
you know the oldest.
You have that somewhat same situation with
You know the oldest documented, the oldest documents of history, of dates, it only goes back about 5,500 years. You know, and to me, it wouldn't take that long. And they say humans came about 200,000 years ago. That's what they say. We would have had dates way before that, I think. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me that we have advanced in 3,000 years as much as we have, and after we became humans somehow, it didn't do nothing. It doesn't make sense to me.
Let me ask you this.
So you'll say that we've existed for example, 50,000 years, okay? Let's just say 50,000 years, which is the one that you were saying, which is the last recorded human document is
5,500
years ago.
5,500 years.
55.
Yeah, 5,500 Egyptians. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to say that since we know that humans existed before them by finding their bodies, we can estimate that God
had a time before he ever intervened with humans.
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying that.
So that means
the way I see it, because I'm looking for my foundation. Adam and Eve, and they procreated, and then a woman and a man, one man procreated. And then the flood happened, and then after the flood, that's when I believe history really, because after the flood, if there was a flood, it would have wiped out everything. So I would believe that after the flood, that's when history, people started writing history down.
I'll just answer this. I feel like we're repeating ourselves quite a lot. So after this, maybe I'll say something and you say something, then we'll move on to the next topic. All right? All right.
The thing is that you believe that you have nothing to back up.
That's
true. The thing is, if you start believing the Bible, you're missing the point
of the Bible. The Bible is not to tell you a literal story. The Bible is to tell you examples of how to live your life.
And the fact is that
it's not both
parables and
fact. It's not.
Okay, I understand that, and you're right. But Genesis was literal. When they said one man, one woman, Adam and Eve, that was literal. That wasn't poetic. Okay, when they said 6 days, that wasn't poetic, because he talked about, in the Bible talks about the first day and the first night being one day. So it's literal to me. It's not poetic to me. But anyway, let's move on to the next subject.
Yeah, I've answered that.
I've answered that already, and you've answered what I'm about to say already anyway. So let's move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. I'll just
since we spent a lot of time on this, I'll just skip rock.
Are you alright with that?
Are you alright with that?
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
All right. Drug legalization.
All right.
Do you think the drugs should or shouldn't be legalized?
Do you think the drugs should or shouldn't be legalized?
To my understanding, you think that they shouldn't.
To my understanding, you think that they shouldn't. But I'll let you speak for yourself here.
Well, I don't I don't drink or anything. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't do any of that kind of thing. I think that honestly, the thing is with the difference between drinking and smoking marijuana to me, or smoking crack or whatever, to me is if you're drinking, I don't like it. I wouldn't legalize it if I was ahead of the country. I wouldn't do it because I don't believe in it. But to me, I think marijuana is a little more dangerous because of the fact that you do become impaired, just like alcohol. It's just like alcohol when it comes to impaired, but you can get other people high from marijuana. If I drank beside you, you wouldn't get drunk. And also, it's a lot easier to smoke weed in the car than to be chugging a bottle down and getting away with it. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm on that issue. I don't really. I'm kind of in the middle.
So do you think the government should tell people?
So do you think the government should tell people what they can and cannot put into their bodies?
No.
I don't believe the government has a right to tell you what you can and cannot put in your body.
I think the government should not. I don't think the government should tell you what you put in your body unless it harms you, or it can harm other people. Now that's the reason why I told you if it was me, I wouldn't legalize alcohol. But we live in a free country, so when it comes to the marijuana issue, or now crack and all that stuff, I wouldn't legalize it, because it does a lot of harm to people. But when it comes to marijuana, I'm in the middle on that issue. I really, when it comes to it, if they had a designated area, just like when you drink, I wouldn't have too big of a problem with it.
They're actually doing that.
They're actually doing that in Canada with harder drugs like heroin, where they were setting up clinics. They were setting up clinics for heroin addicts to shoot up at, where they were basically saying to be in a room, and they could do that to themselves.
Well, they can be a danger. Yeah, but heroin is a lot more dangerous drug than marijuana or drinking.
How do you figure that marijuana?
How do you figure that marijuana has never? Because marijuana has never killed anyone. Marijuana has never. Marijuana doesn't distort your consciousness as much as alcohol does. And marijuana does not do much at all, and it has a lot of medicinal benefits.
I used to smoke marijuana, and I almost died from it because I had a bad asthma attack from it. But
that's the smoke.
That's the smoke. That's
okay. That's fine. I understand it. But marijuana did make me hallucinate also. So, and it wasn't rigged or anything. It made me hallucinate. And the thing is, when it comes to smoking marijuana, my whole view on that is if you're in a designated area, as long as you can't drive, because I wouldn't be in favor of you driving and smoking marijuana, just like I won't be in favor of drinking and, driving. But when it comes to...
But you can
when it comes to marijuana... Go ahead.
I was going to say that you...
I was going to say that you can...
I was going to say that you can make it illegal to drink and to smoke and drive. To smoke marijuana and drive. You can make that illegal. What I'm saying is to make it legal in your own home as your own business. That's what I'm saying. And I personally think that the government doesn't have a right to tell you that you can't smoke crack, and I don't think the government has a right to tell you you can't shoot up heroin. Because the thing is that you have to be responsible while you're doing it. Sure, it may make you do a few weird things, so to speak. But the fact is that that's an individual who's responsible, not the drug. Drugs don't make you do things that you wouldn't do normally. For example, the person who goes out and kills someone when they get drunk, they had the capacity to kill anyone. Alcohol only opened up what they had inside of them.
But marijuana, it makes you hallucinate, so it would have the same effect if you drove and smoked marijuana. I know it calms people down, all that shit. I've heard it all. I used to smoke it, I know. And the thing is, with me, it made me hallucinate many times. But the thing is, with me, I don't mind if people smoke marijuana. I could care less. That's their choice. But I don't want it endangering anyone. That's my whole thing. But when it comes to crack and when it comes to crack and heroin, that does not just endanger themselves. If they have children, that could be a very bad thing for their children as well. Because heroin, have you ever seen anyone that does heroin? It's not the same as smoking marijuana or drinking a beer out of moderation.
I know that, but you can also say that any drug with any drug. For example, by your logic, you should ban alcohol.
Because alcohol in a lot of cases
makes parents beat their kids.
You're not supposed to drink alcohol around kids. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to drink at a bar. You can drink in your house, but you're not supposed to drink around children.
It doesn't matter what you're supposed to do.
It doesn't matter what you're supposed to do. It matters what people will do. For example, if I say that I'm supposed to only drive a car 65 miles per hour on the freeway, that doesn't stop me from going.
Okay.
I mean, what people should do and what they end up doing.
So you'd be in favor with murder being legalized? Hell no. Well, I mean, the law. Wait. You just
Because
said
that's
you don't.
a totally
The government
different
should tell you what to do. The only reason